The academic track also includes lightning talks session, so this is the first of them. And we're continuing the data-oriented part of our program, of our schedule, with two talks. The first two lightning talks, each 10 minutes. The first one, which would be here live with Kingsley, from the Midlands State University in Zimbabwe, would relate to a use case of how we can use OpenStreetMap data for dealing with all kinds of hazard. And after that, we have a recorded lightning talk from Louisa Presti from Maynooth University in Ireland, and Peter Mooney, her supervisor and colleague, about quality assessment of OpenStreetMap data for renewable energy infrastructure. So we'll have them back to back and with no Q&A session. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, my name is Kingsley Chikachuku, and I'll be presenting on analyzing the spatial distribution of filling station in Harare, Zimbabwe, leveraging on OpenStreetMap for disaster preparedness, mitigation, and recovery. Yeah. Letwin is also here with me, while Charles is not here. All right. This is the introduction. And as you know, natural or man-made disaster pose a very serious risk to community all over the world, which have actually led to a lot of things like loss of life, destruction of property, and destruction of social order. So geospatial technology have actually become a valuable instrument for disaster preparedness, disaster response, and mitigation. So open data is actually necessary for disaster response, just like humanitarian OpenStreetMap. So we actually utilize this database in order to check the disasters related to fire in Harare, Zimbabwe. In our research, we actually assess OpenStreetMap database, and we check the gap as what is in the OpenStreetMap database related to what is on ground. And there we made an analysis using the Zimbabwean regulation on how to site filling station. And like I said, we identified the gap. In OpenStreetMap database, we queried the OpenStreetMap database using QGIS, which is the Quick OSM plugin. And we discovered that there are about 54 filling stations that is in OpenStreetMap database. And on our physical verification and meeting with the Zimbabwean Petroleum Regulation Authority, we realized that there are about 324 filling stations that is located in Harare. So we decided to, after identifying this gap, we decided to bridge the gap because OpenStreetMap have only 54 filling stations. And as you know, OpenStreetMap, many databases rely on OpenStreetMap, like many platforms rely on OpenStreetMap database. So we decided to engage the stakeholders, which is engaging with the Zimbabwe Petroleum Regulatory Authority. We collected the data from them, and like I said earlier, it actually revealed that there are 324 petrol stations in Harare, and that means that about 288 petrol stations are missing from OpenStreetMap database. So we decided to bridge the gap, and in bridging the gap, we use the open source data, which is QGIS, where we import all these data and clean it and make sure it's matched with the protocol of importing data in OpenStreetMap. And on that, we, after cleaning the data, because it contained the address, the name, and other features, other attributes as related to each of the filling station, so we clean out the data to make sure it matches with how it's supposed to be, the keys and value as it's supposed to be represented on OpenStreetMap. So after that, we exported it as JSON, And then using Java OpenStreetMap editor, which is JSON, we bring in those points. And as you can see here, these are the spatial distribution of filling station as it is in Zimbabwe. This is after when we are done importing, bringing the data from the regulatory authority. And this is how the spatial distribution looks. And like I said, we exported the data to GeoJSON. And down here, you can see the same points in JSON. And then we did the cleaning. And just like I said, we remove all the unnecessary data that will cause issue, because in OpenStreetMap, for you to import a data, or for every data you bring in OpenStreetMap have a key and value. So we decided to make sure we clean those data to match with that protocol. Then the process of getting this done, when we open it, we decided to download a layer of OpenStreetMap. And when you download the layer of OpenStreetMap, you now merge the layer you imported with the one existing, that is the one you downloaded on OpenStreetMap, as you can see here. So we merge the layer one with our external data. And once that is done, we are able to merge it and upload on OpenStreetMap. So when we are done, we went as far as using every door application, which we use in populating other informations, like the data we uploaded. We went to the site to make sure we collect all the attributes, like the name as of the filling station as related to English and Shona, which is the local language. We also added some information like the payments, whether it's have access to wheelchair and rest of them, the operators, the type of fueling type that we have there. So we were able to use every door to validate and then add the remaining information to the data we uploaded on OpenStreetMap. Then, as related to the regulation, like I said earlier, there are regulations as related to siting filling station in Zimbabwe. So we did a nearest neighborhood analysis, and this nearest neighborhood analysis is actually done for spatial statistics, so to determine the distribution of the points, either they are random or they are clustered or they are dispersed. So after doing this, from our analysis, we understand that the observed mean distance is about 429, that is 421 meters. And then the expected mean supposed to be 869 meters. And we also do the nearest neighborhood ratio, which is about 0.4. And it's when we divided it, the ratio is less than 1, which means that the filling station in Harare, Zimbabwe is clustered. So we also check the Z-score to measure the standard deviation. And as you can see, the more negative it is, the more cluster it is. So from our analysis, we realize that we have about negative 17.75 as the Z score value. So which significantly, or which generally mean that the filling station in Zimbabwe is clustered instead of sparse, or what is supposed to be. So we also check, based on the guidelines of environmental law, on how to design the filling station. So we query also the OSM database using the key and value, using the quick OSM plugin, that is using building to extract all the building in Harare. And in OpenStreetMap, we have about 311,000 building footprints. And using the regulation, so we were able to check the proximity analysis, and we realized that about 413 residential buildings are not falling within where it's supposed to fall, meaning they are staying less than 30 meters to the filling station. Then we also check, because the regulation says that every filling station should not be located within 150 meters from each other. And when we check that, we also realize that about 324 filling stations fall within 150 meters, leaving only 141 in safe distance. That means that about 56.48 filling stations did not meet up the criterion in Harare, Zimbabwe. So we just like I said, we make analysis and then we classify the building footprint we have in OpenStreetMap. So we realize about 53% of the building footprint in Harare are in very high risk zone, while the 33% are in high risk zone, 12% are in medium risk zone, while 0.73 are in low risk zone. So we as well check the fire station, because when you're talking about disaster, so you also need to check. And then we realize that there are only 3 fire stations that's located in OpenStreetMap, that is found in OpenStreetMap. So we carry out as in directional distribution standard deviation early. So you can see here, it is not actually what it's supposed to be. So it means there is a very huge gap as related to this. So at the end of the day, my conclusion here is that OSM database provide a critical information for disaster risk and management. And these have actually shown that we can collaborate with government agency in order to improve the quality of data we have in OpenStreetMap, just like we imported external data into OSM. And it have actually shows the usefulness of OSM data in humanitarian response. And then our recommendation as related to this is we need to update frequently the OSM data, and we need to collaborate more with the stakeholders in getting those data that are not available to be able to make it available on open data development platform like OSM, and making OSM more reliable for both global and local for disaster response initiative. And how do we need to start? We need to start from wherever you are and keep doing that. So thank you.
Thank you, Kingsley.